Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Friday afternoon edition, and Bitcoin has been sort of ranging, bouncing between about 38 and 35.5, give or take. Let's go to the chart. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about some news, and we'll try to anticipate what's in store for us this weekend. So right now, you should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart. Can I get an amen?
Yes.
All right.
Amen.
Amen. All right. So Bryce talked about this yesterday on the CryptNation call, as he does on Thursdays. Actually, it wasn't Bryce, it was Pizza Mind, but and a couple of the other new guys were talking about the overall conditions that have led to this drop and then a slight recovery. We've got the world instability with Russia or Ukraine. We've got the Fed announcement. Looks like they're going to reduce their purchases of assets and raise interest rates slightly in March. I think a lot of this was priced in already, but that had a lot to do with the recent drop. So the question is, where do we go from here? It's Friday afternoon. We've got the weekend coming up. That generally means lower volumes and sometimes lower prices. So what I'm thinking is, I'll make this bigger. Yeah. I drew a trend line from prior low starting this summer. I mean, I had the low already mapped out here with this neon green line, and then this white line is more of an angle. And what I'm hoping is that we bounce off this and shoot up. But what's just as likely to happen, maybe even more likely, is we have this bounce and a return over the weekend and maybe early next week down here in the low 30s, and then we bounce again. We start to have our recovery. But until volume improves considerably, there's not much retail action right now. I'm not looking for a big giant pump up, say like this sequence here from late September to late October, where we pumped like crazy. Nearly every day was green. We got 60% pump in a month, actually less than that, 3 weeks. So then we had a drawdown here and then another big pump, and then we've been working our way down since that, but you guys already know that. So I won't harp on that anymore. Just be careful whatever you do this weekend or whatever trades we talk about today. I'm being super cautious. I'm going in at half my usual amount when I do any kind of longs. On the short side, I'm trading more like usual, but on the long side, I'm being extra cautious. So that's what I see happening with Bitcoin. Any questions or comments about Bitcoin before we look at Ethereum?
No, all good.
All right, on Ethereum, on the day chart, it's been more, it's dropped more than Bitcoin. But the cycle does look similar. It's just been a little more harsh. On the hour, did have some increase today from early this morning. We're up, we were up as high as 7% and dropped a little bit to a little over 6. So on the hour chart, on Ethereum, 10 a.m., we got some bearish divergence, but it was not confirmed. This Bitcoin alert went off on the hour chart as well. And we have bearish divergence on the histogram. So that could be indicative of a dip, but we don't have confirmation yet. We've got a green candle forming right now. And for those of you not that familiar with divergence, it's just a disagreement between the indicators and the price action. So on bearish divergence, we usually have indicators going down and price action going up, and then vice versa for bullish divergence. It's something I've started to talk about this year in my Zooms. So I have been using it with some frequency on some of my longer term trades where I go in on the 15-minute chart or the 30 or the 1 hour to try to find some bigger moves. So that's a quick overview of divergence. Bitcoin on the 1 hour, Ethereum on the 1 hour, up today, but looking a little squirrely right now. All right. Well, if there's no questions about the market in general, I will head over to Altcoin Alert. Actually, I'll look at this reading on iCoin Pro real quick. The Fear and Greed Index, extreme fear 20. This is yesterday's value. This is probably up a little bit today, but still mostly fear out there, so be advised.
It was on 11 Monday.
Yeah, so it's gone up some, since then. All right, so this is Altcoin Alert. Many of us from the CryptNation group have joined this, and I like to use it. I use it on nearly a daily basis. I mean, I look at it every day. I don't always trade it, but this helps me pick out coins I want to evaluate, put alerts on, and eventually make trades. So a couple different ways I like to use this. The most popular way is this AA score. We don't have good ones today. The best one here is just bullish. I'd rather see very bullish on the potential long positions, 80 or higher. But we've only got the highest score is 76 on this. I don't even know what that is, but Luna, this is something I trade all the time. So let's go ahead and look at Luna. It's got a bullish of 76. And what this means is that there's a 76% chance that in the next 48 to 72 hours, Luna should go up 3% or higher. So it's trying to predict the likelihood of Luna going up a few percent. As a day trader, I like a 3% trade. On the spot, if you're spot trading, if you pile up, 1, 2, 3% profits, your balance will increase reasonably quickly. If you add leverage to that, 5 or 10x leverage, if you're experienced, I suggest that you get good at spot trading before you do leverage. But sometimes people are introduced to leverage first. So anyway, let's look at Luna. Feeling kind of soapboxy right now. All right, get the big picture, and Luna has been crazy. It shot up all the way to over $100 at the end of the year, and it's fallen hard since then. So it's down.
I hate Luna right now.
Yeah, I tried to scalp it today and it didn't go my way, so I'm not happy with it either. So yeah, we're down over 50% since the end of the year in just a month. On the hour, what's it doing lately? Trending down pretty significantly today in the last few days. The 5-minute chart sitting right on the SMA line, one of my least favorite places to enter. Now, if we were here, if it were 4:20 a.m., we've got a really good looking dip sequence. This is the kind of thing I'm usually looking for. Got the squeeze, got the bubble. Most of you guys should have seen my 1, 2, 3 dip training that I send from iCoin Pro. It goes over this in detail. If you don't have that, email me and I'll send it to you. But we don't usually count the first dip. 1, 2, got 2 dips and then some pretty good candle action going our way. MACD cross, RSI moving up, MFI moving up. So I think a good entry point would have been right about here. Up to the SMA lines 3%. So you would have hit that about 2.5 hours had you gotten in on that dip sequence. But that's an example of what kind of setup we're looking for, but we don't have that at the moment. We got this kind of choppiness and sitting on the SMA line on the 5-minute chart. So what do? We set alerts. preferably in the 15-minute chart. So I like to bounce over here and try to catch a dip sequence. There's a few ways you can do that. Let's see. Not showing any divergence. Oh, I turned it off. Okay. So I've showed you guys a couple times how to download this divergence from many indicators version 4. You can get that right here on TradingView. You know, type in divergence and download it here. So you can set an alert on the 15-minute chart, add alert. We don't want negative divergence. We're looking for positive divergence because we have a positive AA score. Click that. I usually click on the once per bar close. And then you can mark it how you want, notify on app, you know, and play a sound. And then you can name it, you know, divergence, you know, something like that. So that's how I would do very quickly, how I would do a divergence alert. If you don't want to mess with divergence, if you don't quite understand it yet, that's fine. It took me a while to wrap my head around it. There are other indicators you can set alerts on. You can set one here on the money factor index. You know, as you can see, when it gets down below this 20, it tends to come back. Sometimes it goes sideways first and then comes back. Well, that's not a good example, but like this one here is, you know, had you gotten in any of these around 20 and then working its way back up, get in right about here. You up to the SMA line on the 15-minute charts, 4%. So that, you know, that's an example of how some of these work. RSI is another popular indicator. Below 30 is considered oversold. So usually, you know, more often than not, it's due to come back, and you set your alert down here. Alert on the RSI crossing up. You put your 30 value here, and you're good to go. You know, notify on app, show pop-up, however you want to be alerted. And then when that goes off, you'll usually be in a dip sequence, usually a second or third dip on the 5-minute chart. And you're good to go. So these are the ways I like to set alerts. I used to use the RSI. I use divergence more now, but either one would work to let you know a potential dip sequence, so you get a good entry on your trade. Now, if you don't want to wait for a dip sequence, back to the 5-minute chart here on Luna, it has bounced off this SMA line or just to dip slightly below it and then gone up again. It's done that a couple times. It's you know, here it's 1, 2, so maybe it'll do it a third time. We've got a couple green candles here on the 5-minute chart. From here to the top of the Bollinger Band, you know, got some resistance here. You're looking right around 3%. That's not a bad trade, but getting in here could just go either way. But you know, check your Bitcoin, see what's going on with that before you make your entrance. You know, Bitcoin's on the 5-minute charts above the SMA line. Punched through the top of the Bollinger Band, dipped a little bit. Now it's showing a couple of green candles. So could be a good trend trade. You know, I just want to show you guys a few different options on where to get in on your altcoin alert trades. I prefer the dip sequence, you know, using either these. Oh, shoot, that's the wrong one. Using either the MFI, the RSI, or divergence. So that's how I like to do it. Any questions on Luna or anything I've talked about with the alerts? All right.
Yeah, CJ,
Okay.
when you set the alert on the say the red flag,
Hmm.
does that mean next time a red flag comes up, it will go off?
No, you have to choose. I mean, it just defaults on the alert to negative because it's an alphabetical order. So like you can set an alert here and choose positive like I did earlier. You can choose positive or negative. I don't usually make a distinction between hidden and regular, and I'm not going to try to explain those. I'm not entirely sure what they what they are, but
Yeah.
I mean, I generally know, but yeah, you can set an alert, but you have to choose whether it's positive or negative.
CJ, real quick, how did you know that it was like 3%? When you moused over it, it came up with some indications on there. Is that something you have to turn on?
3%, you know,
Would you-
altcoin
He's
alert.
talking about the measuring of the graph.
Yeah, you were talking about from like where the edge of that thing is up to the top of the Bollinger Band.
Yeah, you can use this ruler over here. A shortcut is to shift. Hit your shift key and your mouse and click it and go up like that.
I've been trying to figure out how to calculate that. I spent a lot of time figuring that out in my head. I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
It's one of the first things I learned as a trader was how to do that shortcut. It works maybe 3/4 of the time. If it's not working, then just go over here to this ruler and click it and go where you want to go and click again, and it'll kick in for you.
Sweet.
Okay, BJ is asking, do I use bull and bear flag patterns to enter exit trades? I do not. I look at those for the overall market, but I don't use them for entries. To me, that's, you know, it's in the similar category as trend lines and, you know, say a head and shoulders pattern, things like that. Those aren't great comparisons, but they're good to take into consideration for the overall trend. But since I'm a day trader, I'm usually looking for smaller, you know, smaller movements. So, you know, those kind of patterns aren't as useful. They're better for swing trading and long-term trading is my understanding, but I've seen people I respect use them. So nothing wrong with using them. All right, let's look at something else. So that was the AA score sort. Let's look at waves too. It's 75.1. And recall that the AA score is pretty much separate from all the other information here. The AA score is trying to predict that a coin that's been beaten down is going to come back. You can also flip it, you know, and this will tell you that a coin that's shooting up is due to crash and burn. So I've used it for this purpose too. But for now, since most of us are spot trading, we'll go ahead and check out the bullish ones, and we'll go to waves. 75.1. Again, I like to see 85 or higher, but this is what we have to work with at the moment. All right, let's go to the day chart, get the big picture. So it's been trending down pretty hard, but most of the coins look like this. You know, since October, this one's down, you know, 70% on the hour. Pretty good bounce a few days ago, but gave a lot of it back. It's got potential. On the 5-minute. All right, good movements today. You know, we're up over 8%. I like that. So that's a strong move, but it's not so huge that it discourages me from evaluating this. If I see a 30-40% move, sometimes I think it's played out, it's too late, but 8%, yeah, let's check it out. At the moment, 2 red candles between the SMA line, the top of the Bollinger Band. Not a great entry. So again, we're going to go to our 15-minute chart and do our alerts. Either a positive divergence here, the moving up above the 20 on the MFI, or the crossing above the 30 on the RSI. And that's what I would do with that. If you don't want to deal with alerts like this, another way to do this is just to set a price alert. Like you look at your trading range, there's some support here at 946, some more at 936. You might want to put, some more here at 949. By support, I'm seeing like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles on the 5-minute chart that are holding and then it bounces. That's considered support. So an alert in this vicinity, just on the price, is another way to make a good entry. So just right click, add an alert, say 945, and you notify, get rid of this, and then call it whatever you want, price alert. Go ahead and create, you're good to go. So this one will go off only once. So, but yeah, since it's a price alert, it doesn't really matter. Once it crosses 945, it'll let you know. So that's how I would handle that one. Those are the easiest alerts to do. Those are the first ones I did. I was probably trading for 9 months to a year before I started putting alerts on indicators, but nothing wrong with starting with price alerts. Any questions on waves?
You have history now, so you're looking back and you're talking about that, but that's already passed. So why would you put the price alert on it now?
Because price has memory. Something Bryce Paul says in the CryptNation group with some frequency. I agree with him. So, I mean, you can see how the bottom of this trading range in the last, pretty much today is ranging between, 960 and about 935. And so if this is going to drop again and get us a better entry, it's probably going to, more likely than not, it's going to come down to this area here, because that's where it was earlier today. No guarantees, but trading these ranges.
Right, it ranges up on a diagonal, but it's going to come back down there.
Yeah, and this is on the 5-minute chart. You can broaden it out, 15-minute chart. You can see it a little more clearly here.
Yeah. It's pretty horizontal, which is great.
Yeah, you see where. Yeah, when I learned these, my instructor called them cheat codes. That they're just telling you where it's going to go. So, this 930 area is held up, for the last couple of days. So, to go to the hour chart. Yeah, it goes back to, about the same. And then we've got, some more support on this around, a little over $8 earlier in the week. So when I'm doing price alerts, I usually use the 5 or the 15-minute chart, look for, support, and then, put in my alert accordingly. All right, any questions on waves? All right, let's go back to Altcoin Alert. And the AA score is a fine, a fine sort, but it's not what I use most of the time. What I use most of the time is this one, this long-term sentiment. For those of you who are new, long-term sentiment is essentially Twitter data. It's the word on the street. If I hover over here, it'll tell me, what the long-term sentiment means. It's comparing the last 24 hours to the last 20 days. So I like to see very bullish or bullish on long-term sentiment and try to match it up with the elder impulse as well. Elder impulse is a combination of trend and momentum based indicators, MACD and volume and momentum and things like that. So if I see, now this is one of the few times I've seen long-term sentiment with very bullish and bullish, and then no confirmation on the daily. They're all bearish. So this is kind of a confusing mess for us today. But I thought I found one earlier. I don't know if it stayed this way. No, it hasn't. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. So my next confirmation would be with the long-term sentiment would be the Elder Impulse hourly, which, you know, it's trading, it's comparing 20 hour and 50 hour values on the momentum based trading. So if I'm not getting the confirmation on the daily and I'm relying on the hourly, that's a riskier trade, because it gives me a shorter time frame for success. So I probably go in maybe half or a third of my usual amount if I'm relying on this data. And we've got a few of those. We've got Tomo, which is bullish. So the word on the street and the Elder Impulse hourly are both bullish. That could be worth further investigation. Again, I'd feel better if this were bullish on the daily. I've also got that on Cody. I've got bullish on the long term, bullish on the hourly, and Link as well, bullish on the long term, bullish on the hourly. Link is a coin I trade with some frequency, so let's look at that one. Okay, on a day chart. Since well, let's just go from earlier in January, from the 11th, you know, 45% drop. A lot of the coins look like this. On the hour, mostly sideways last few days. Since the 22nd, our trading range is like 1375 to 1665. So it's bouncing in this range here. But if you catch it on the bottom and it stays in the range, you catch it down here at around 1450, goes back up to $16. That's 10%. We love that as day traders. All right, 5-minute chart. Improved movement today, starting 0630, 9%, and then drop down to about 8% profit. So that's pretty encouraging, but well, it has been riding the SMA line and bouncing off of it. So since 6:30 this morning, it hits the Bollinger Band down to the SMA and then bounces back up again. Of course, the candle action kind of creates this, so it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but the point is, if we have a couple of green candles here and you want to catch a trend, I don't know. I don't think I'd do that for only a 1%. Yeah, if I were going to get into this, I'd do the same thing that I just showed you with the other two. Go to my 15-minute chart and go for positive divergence or bullish divergence, or crossing above the 20 on the MFI, or crossing above the 30. Another option would be, say, this middle group. We've got support here at 1429, 1447, and 1481. I like round numbers. I'd probably put a price alert around 1450 if I were going to do a price alert, and go with that. When that goes off, reevaluate, see if it's something I want to enter. So those are the 4 options I like to do on my alerts, either the price alert I just described, or something on the divergence MFI or RSI. Any questions on Link? Okay, BJ's asking, what time frame do you normally use in day trade? 1, 5, or 15-minute? I enter trades on the 5-minute chart, and I like to put alerts on the 15-minute chart. I noticed that when I was doing RSI alerts, that I would catch third dips when the 30 alert would go off. Sorry, like this right here. So this is at 13:45 on the 27th. You know, if I go back to there, I'll probably get a 1, 2, 3 dip or something pretty close to it. Yeah, you can see the dip sequence here. My alert goes off at 13:45. And I got this nice dip sequence here. And, you know, I wait for a recovery, and that would have been a really good trade. You know, the SMA line's 2.5%. You know, this resistance here, you know, it's 4%. If I was feeling really ambitious, I might have looked at this resistance here, tried to get 7%. I tend to go in the middle. I would have probably gone for this 4% here and been out, you know, in 2 hours, 4%, probably on some kind of leverage. So that would have been a good trade with that alert. All right. Any questions on Link? All right, we'll look at one more on this sort. The long-term sentiment, we looked at Link. Tomo is also bullish on long-term sentiment and the hourly elder impulse. Same setup as Link. We'll look at Tomo, see if it looks the same. Okay, day chart, let's get the big picture. Since December, we're down 65%, 60%, slight recovery today. Let's look at the hour, get a better view of that recovery. Okay, from 7 a.m., we're up 26%. Oh, we're on the hour chart. So that's 7 a.m. on the 24th, so 4 days ago. That's still a good move this week. 5-minute chart. That's what I meant to look at. So today, since roughly 6 a.m., we are up, you know, 9%. It's a good movement today for Tomo. Riding the SMA line, looks like a lot of the others we've been looking at already. It's squeezing in on the Bollinger Bands, don't like that. So I wouldn't want to enter here. Again, I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart and set the same alerts. Got support here on the price at 106. Some more here at 108. A little bit here at 110, 111. So I'd probably go around 108 for my price alert. Or, you know, starting to get repetitive. Divergence alert or MFI or RSI. So I don't set alerts on MACD very often. I like to, it's one of the slower moving indicators. So I often just use it as a confirmation if I have disagreement between the other ones. Sometimes you'll have the MFI pointing down and the RSI pointing up. You know, RSI is going sideways at the moment, but you know, if it were spiking up and this were spiking down, I might look at the RSI or the MACD to, you know, solve the dispute. Of course, a better course of action is just to wait it out, see what they do. But I'm not always patient. All right, and then finally on Altcoin Alert, there are other sorts you can do. I mean, you see me do the long-term sentiment. Sometimes we sort by social activity, try to get, you know, long-term sentiment and, you know, the elder impulse daily to match up that way. We don't have that today, so I'm not going to do that one. If you're more of a technical trader, you can sort by the elder impulse. You know, just look for what's bullish there. KNC I was looking at earlier, but now we're bearish on the sentiment on both of them, so that would probably discourage me. But purely technical wise, we do have bullish on the elder impulse, a slightly bullish AA score. Might be worth looking at, but we're starting to run into a little bit of a time crunch here. So I think I'm done with what I'm going to look at Altcoin Alert, unless any of you guys have something specific you want me to look at. All right, Tim is asking, what do you mean by technical trader versus what you're doing? What I'm doing at the moment with Altcoin Alert is I'm combining sentiment, which isn't technical at all. It's like I said, the word on the street, the Twitter information. What are people talking about? So I'm combining sentiment with the technicals. And technical is going to be your elder impulse daily and hourly. So, but if you have no interest in a lot of people don't care about the news when it comes to trading. They feel that the news is priced into the price action, so it's really irrelevant. I don't necessarily agree, but I understand the reasoning.
Stay in your dream world.
Yeah. But yeah, so okay, Brian's asking, do I only trade long positions? I'm focusing on that because that's mostly what my audience is doing. They're trading long positions on spot trades, but I primarily trade now on leverage, so I do longs and shorts depending on the information I'm seeing. Actually, with that in mind, we can sort long-term sentiment and go opposite, go bearish. There's a lot of bearish here. So the word on the street, the Twitter information is negative, and the elder impulse is negative. And we've got the graph, ICP, Chili's, Tron. I'm in a trade on Tron yesterday from this information. Let's go ahead and look at the graph. This is one I like to short from time to time. So this will be the last one we look at, and we'll wrap it up. So big picture, same kind of drop as most of the other coins on the hour. Some recovery today, not as much as some of the others we've seen. Let's go to the 5-minute. Okay, yeah, up about 5%. We were seeing 9s and 10s in some of the others. So if I'm looking to short this and I want to get a good entry, I'm going to right click here on my divergence, sorry, over on the 15-minute chart. I'm looking for a short, and it's already negative divergence detected. So, you know, that would be my divergence sort. It's already at towards the high part of the range today. So it would be reasonable based on price analysis to get in pretty quickly. What I might do in this situation is set a limit order, you know, slightly above, maybe like right above the Bollinger Band, around 4170, give or take. So that would be one approach. Or you could you could do an alert on your MFI or your RSI crossing down. So this is the opposite of what I showed you before. Crossing down on the 80 value. So when it's crossing down, it's starting to, you know, money's starting to leave the project, and that can be a good time to get in. Same with the RSI. Put your alert crossing down on the 70 is usually the value most people choose. You can choose whatever value you want, but most people consider 70 as overbought. So,
and this would be a short position, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So that would be another way to do that, to set your alerts. And, you know, here's an example here on the MFI. We have, you know, divergence. We have the MFI going over the 80 value and then dropping. It doesn't quite get to the 70 on the RSI, but, you know, these are, you know, this would interest me if I saw this, you know, on my chart. Get in right about here on a short. You know, it drops down, you know, 2% on a short at 10x is really good. Bounces back up and drops all the way down here. If you're more aggressive, get 4%. If you're on 5x or 10x leverage, that's an outstanding trade. So that's an example on how I use Altcoin Alert to find shorts. All right. Okay, Brian's asking, where do you go to trade shorts? You can trade on, he's asking about Binance as well. If you're on Binance, you can trade leverage on Binance. That's actually my favorite platform to do it. But as a US citizen, it requires KYC now. I can't do it there anymore. I like Bybit and I like Femex. I use both of those for my manual trades. Email me at cryptocj13@gmail.com. I'll send you a link. We both get rewarded for that, so it's worth your while if you want to check out those those platforms. However, I urge you to be confident and consistent in your spot trading first before you do your own leverage trading. If you have a system or someone guiding you, that's different. But if you're on your own, then I suggest, and you're new, then you should probably learn spot trading first. Or you can even do shorts on 1x leverage, and that'd be a sort of safe way to do it. But yeah, I guess that would be a compromise. All right. Any questions on Altcoin Alert or any of the strategies I've shown you, or very well. What I will do at this time is I'll stop the recording. Those of you watching the recording, I appreciate it. I'll take a short break and then we'll start the carbon portion.